McCluer Comets against the Hazelwood Central Hawks. Hello everyone and welcome to Hazelwood Central High School. I'm Steve Wood along with Dan Reardon. And Dan, on paper, this game shapes up to be a real evenly matched contest.
Well, both teams come in with 5-3 records. Both were winners last week in the first round of district play. This is really the game that determines who goes to the state tournament. They both have very winnable games next week. When we look at Hazelwood Central, this is a team that statistically really is not very impressive. You can see that they've been outscored by their opponents, but the key factor there is they've given up some leads. They have 3 losses on the year: Melville, Pattonville, and Hazelwood East. Prestige schools, but in those games, particularly Hazelwood East, they had a lead they couldn't hold on to. Now, Norm Ryan is a coach that likes to play defense, and you can see that part of that package is Damon Horn and Brian Deal, 5 sacks each. They're a team that can get after you defensively. They'll go right at McCluer.
McCluer comes in 5-3 as well. A kind of a defensive-oriented team. Also, statistically, giving up 17, scoring 17 points a game.
Yeah, playing pretty much of a standstill. And McCluer is trying to run that string at least another year. You know, they had the great resurgence under Mike Miller. They've gone to the state finals. They've graduated most of that talent. Most of that core group is gone. This is the second generation coming in. They have a quarterback, Taran Hinkle, who can light it up. He has 5 touchdown passes. He has 7 interceptions. The key for them will be to eliminate those mistakes.
Well, it's homecoming here at Hazelwood Central, and the kickoff is just moments away. We'll be back with that right after this. Down at center field, we've got the traditional coin toss to determine who will take the opening kickoff, or as Dan and I were discussing earlier, it's the weather situation that could enter into this afternoon's game, and the winner might actually defer. Let's go down to the field now and listen in. A little tough to hear him today.
You know, those officials, they just have to speak a little louder.
All right, here we go, though.
I'm waiting for one of those non-traditional coin tosses.
Such as?
I don't know. Everybody talks about the traditional coin toss. I figure there must be an alternative there somewhere. You talked about the weather, Steve. Right now, it's really good playing conditions. You know, there is a forecast of rain, as we see now, the indication on the coin toss. And McCluer won the ball and elected to receive. The wind conditions are really negligible. There's a breeze coming across the field. It should not affect play too much. Last year, this game was, I believe, a 7-3 win for McCluer over Hazelwood Central, and it was played in a steady rain, and the rain really influenced the outcome of the game. We do have a forecast of rain before the day is done, but right now, the field is in good shape. Everything is in good shape. There's no excuses weather-wise.
Both of these teams coming off of victories last week in the first round of the district playoffs.
And something has happened as far as the districts are concerned, because what they have going for them now is that the districts have changed a little bit, with schools like St. Louis U High, CBC, Vianney, and DeSmet all forming their own conference, and they ended up in the same district. So you have a Roosevelt now thrown into this district, and it gives both teams a greater chance, a greater opportunity to look forward to making it through the district and into the state tournament.
Doing the kicking off for Hazelwood Central will be Matt Bright, there in the center of your screen, kicking off from his own 40. Back deep for the Comets, we will have Torrance Harris along with Taran Hinkle.
I think that's Ryan Ray, number 1. I saw it at first, looks like a 4, but it is Ryan Ray also back.
Okay.
And those are the tandem running backs for the Comets. It's homecoming. You figure Hazelwood Central should be pumped very early. That's a time when a lot of emotion should come into play.
And we're set. Kickoff, kept it low on the ground. Gets by both deep backs. Picked up by Harris. He's at his own 10, and he put his knee down, and that's where they're going to rule the ball dead, actually at about the 9-yard line.
Yeah, he was trying to decide what he wanted to do. He went down to pick the ball up. His knee touched the ground. The official very alert on the spot. So bad field position for the Comets right off the bat. This is a ball club that likes to play games in the offensive line. We'll talk about it throughout the game. Watch the line. Watch the way they use the formation to key their offense.
Offensively, the Comets will be led at quarterback by Tran Hinkle. Joining him in the backfield, we will have Ryan Ray, Frank Russell, and Torrance Harris. Tight end is Corey Stingley, and they go with a double tight end formation, with the other being Jason Cooper. The line consists of Adam Jones, Chris Engel, Alfonso Hinton, Eric Jefferson, and Jim Peller at center. Back split now behind Hinkle. Slot to the right. From their own 9-yard line. The give is to Frank Russell, 6'1", 220-pound senior fullback.
And Damon Horn, number 60, in on the tackle on that play.
Pick up on the play of 2 to 3 yards. We'll call it second down and a long. Russell again. Keeping the ball on the ground, picking up some more tough yardage, 2 or 3 on that particular carry. It'll be third down, about 3.5 to go to the first.
Went on the quick count that time, trying to catch Hazelwood Central sitting in their defense a little bit.
Defensively for the Hawks, all the D-backs, Martin, Williams, and Price. The defensive ends, Brian Deal and Damon Horn, who we mentioned earlier. And the linebacking core of Collier, Ward, Hassipus, Porter, and the tackles of Ellis and Matt Eisenberg, a college prospect in his own right. 3rd and 3. Back to throw. Hinkle got a man open, and it's incomplete. Pass intended for Torrance Harris.
Time by Hinkle to buy himself a little extra time. Had the throw on target, but a big play by Price to break it up. Now good field position likely for the Hazelwood Central Hawks on their first possession offensively.
Their deep receiver standing at midfield.
It's Brandon Washington, I believe, number 36.
Back to punt, Eric Jefferson for the Comets. He got a heavy rush, but he got the kick off. Taken at the 45 to the 40.
And that's Sean Williams, number 30, on the return.
It is Sean Williams, who is stopped at about the 37-yard line. Let's see where they spot it. That looks to be close. And that's where the Hazelwood Hawks will take over. By the way, the 37-yard line of McCluer. So, as you said, Dan, the Hawks' first possession pretty deep into Comet territory. Checking the offense for the Hawks, quarterback by Jim Gerritz. The ends are Collier and Ward. Your running backs are Smith, Alexander, and Joseph. We'll get to the front line in just a moment after this play. The give is to Brian Collier. Pick up a 5 or 6 on the carry as he went over the right side of the line.
And the Hawks showed something a little different that time. They came out unbalanced to the right side of the line, overloaded on the defense, got the power yardage up the right side.
That line for the Hawks looks like this. Tackles are Eisenberg and Horn. Your center is Brian Deal. And on the left side, you've got Nicastro and Clark.
Let's see what they do with the formation this time. And once again, they overshift to the right side. Power formation to the right side, unbalanced to the right.
Jim Gerwitz, senior quarterback. Very little pickup on that play as the McCluer defense read the play fairly well.
What you're gambling in that situation is that the defense catches on to the fact that you've been unbalanced the first time. You try and see if they've made the shift down the line to get the quarterback in there on the quick sneak.
Talk about the D at the corners. You've got Harris and Jackson. Your safeties are Pickett and Shelton, and your linebackers are Frank Russell and James McLaren. It is 3rd down and 5 for the Hazelwood Central Hawks. Gerwitz with a pitch back. Collier, met behind the line of scrimmage. Good defensive play there by Frank Russell.
Yeah,
he's 6'1", 220.
Russell shot the gap, got through defensively, and hit the man in the backfield. Now let's see what Hazelwood wants to do, because they're at the 34-yard line. Too long for a field goal, but
finishing up that common defense for you. The line consists of Tim Sanders, Ron Martin. The tackles are Andy Roots, Matt Buskin, and John Lucas.
This is what they call their 8-ball formation. This is a spread passing formation. Very, very different.
4th down, 7 to go. Throwing it out into the flats. The receiver is number 87 for the Hawks, and that is Julian Smith, and he picks up the 1st down.
That's a product of